Hello everybody, welcome to Handstands with Natalie. I am Natalie and I teach the art of hand balancing, and today's class is about how to achieve that floating sensation in the handstand, that sense of ease that we are all looking for when we're training. So let's get started with a warm-up that allows us to find that sense of ease and release in the body. Let's start here just as we do always. Feet parallel, just underneath the hip bones. Navel pulled in towards the spine. Ribs are flat, everything in line with your spine. Feel the weight of your center line falling through the middle of your body into the ground. And now, keeping everything aligned and nothing moves in our torso, we circle the shoulders backwards. Big juicy circles here in the shoulders. Really make sure you bring them up towards your ears. Really push them back here. Press your shoulder blades together without anything in your torso moving. Keep the navel pulled in towards the spine. Keep the hips tucked. And let's go to the front. Circle your shoulders front. Big circles, especially here in the back. Maximum shoulder articulation. And now let us swing the arms up and down, up and down. And every time I'm here on top, I've got the arms on top, I slightly lean into this stretch. So I slightly lean forwards into the stretch. And you're supposed to just feel a gentle resistance, not a painful stretch or anything. It's just really about getting the shoulders warmed up and getting the blood flow going. And let's swing the arms from side to side. So diagonally up, crossing in front. Diagonally up, crossing in front. And really feel your shoulders, your whole upper back moving here. Get the blood flow going. Gently warm up your shoulders. Keep the navel pulled in towards the spine. And notice how your breath is also getting more engaged with this movement because your torso is moving, is opening and closing. Okay, and shake your arms, slightly bend the knees, and curve your upper back, and open up diagonally, curve, and open your chest up diagonally, curve, and open, curve, and open. Let's do this together 6 more times. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Okay, shake your arms. So this is all about your thoracic spine mobility in order to create a nice spongy upper back. Spongy may be a weird way to express it, but we kind of want to have that if we want to have a sense of ease in the handstand. We want to have a soft but strong upper back. So from here, now let's just roll down and come onto your knees into a tabletop position. Tabletop position, really try and push yourself away from the floor. Yeah, really ground yourself into the floor. Dig the fingers into the ground. And now just let your chest sink in and push yourself back up. So you're trying to allow your chest to sink in between the shoulders, releasing everything. And then you're pushing back up into the middle here of your upper back. So it's like someone's pushing your chest up from below like this. And let's repeat this a few more times. Sink in, push up, sink in, push up. Sink in, push up, sink in, push up. Okay, now let's try and create a ripple in the upper body. So it's a little bit like a variation of the cat-cow spine mobility exercise. So you're trying to dive through with your head first, and then you create a rippling curve And then you dive through. So I'm bending my elbows a little bit as well. I'm bending the elbows as I dive through and then curve. And dive through head first so it ripples across the whole spine and then push into a curve. Dive through, push into a round back, dive through, push into a round back. And let's try to reverse this. So I'm sinking in with my chest first, and the head is the last thing that follows the curve back up. So chest goes first, creating a circular ripple across the whole upper body. You can feel a little bit like a snake here. Imagine that your arms are just supporting you and your spine is kind of like the body of a snake. Really soft and supple. And one more time. Okay, so let's now take that into a circle. So imagine that you kind of have like a plane here, a plane surface about where your ribs are, and that is what you're circling around. So into a curve and down to the floor. So you're creating a proper circle with your whole upper body, and take the head with you. So allow this movement to affect the head. And circle. And let's go the other way. Circle. Really try to isolate. Imagine it's just your rib cage, really. That's moving in a circle. Okay, excellent. Now, press the hands into the floor. Really dig the fingers into the ground and come up onto your feet. So you're perched up on your feet. And just focus now for a second on that connection between the crown of your head and the tailbone, two opposite ends of your spine. And here, with the help of your hands pushing into the ground, straighten your legs and enjoy this hamstring stretch here. If you want, you can take hold of the elbows. You can also place your hands here on the shins or use a chair if you are still struggling a little bit with flexibility, or that's something you're working towards. And let's now allow the tailbone to pull us towards the ground, bending the knees. And one more time, the crown of the head is pulling me towards the floor, deepening the stretch. And the tailbone is pulling towards the floor. And one more time, crown of the head is pulling towards the floor. And here now rock back and forth. Rock your weight back and forth onto the hands and feet. And every time your weight is on the hands, really dig the hands into the ground. This is your chance now to warm up your wrists and your hands. And when you're here in front on your hands, make sure you're really rounding. Round the upper back, just as we did here in this curve. Round the upper back. And round, and round, and round. Okay, bend the knees, roll up slowly through the spine. Let's take it into a straddle position. Knees bend and knees are above your big toe. Yeah, you always want to try and stay above the big toe to keep the knees here safe. And then place your elbows on your thighs. And just gently rock here. Move from side to side to open up the hip flexibility a bit. Okay, place the hands on the floor and straighten both legs. And allow the weight of the head to pull you deeper into this stretch. And bend. And straighten. Allow the weight of the head to pull you deeper. And bend and stretch, and let's just stay here and do the same thing as we did before. Rock back and forth, and every time here you rock towards the front, dig the hands into the ground, dig the fingers into the ground, push the floor away and curve your upper back. And curve, push yourself up onto your toes and curve, and curve, and curve, and one more time, curve. Okay, bend the knees and roll up. Very good. Hands in front. Open and close the fingers as fast as you can. To the side, open and close. Up above you, open and close. One more time in front, faster, faster, open and close, faster. Okay, and shake your hands. Okay, so feel free to pause the video if you want to warm up your wrists a little bit more. This was a very quick warm up for the wrists, and some of you may need a little bit more because I would like to now start straight away with handstand exercises. And the first thing that we're going to do is just we're going to kick up and see if we can sort of create a sense of suspension and come back down. So it's just a kick up, close the legs, suspend and come back. So we are kicking up until 3% in front of the balance point, just enough so that we can comfortably come back down, and we're really trying to have a moment of floating and of suspension in that movement, yeah? So you kick up and come back down and feel that suspension here and come back down. Let's do this together 10 times, and really imagine that there's softness in your chest as well as strength that's pushing into the floor. Think of it as an exercise that happens quite naturally, so your hips are getting there quite naturally if you drive the foot up towards the ceiling and it's 3% in front of your balance point. Let's go for 10 together. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 2 more, 9 and 10, and come back. Now let's just find our center line of balance next in just a normal straight line handstand. So you kick up into a handstand and just find your center line of balance and stay there for 10 seconds, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and gently come down. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we'll kick up into a handstand, find the center line of balance, and then we are going to try and reduce the effort we put into this handstand by 50%. So you are trying to economize on your energy and try to create a sense of release. So that may mean that your shoulders are slightly sinking and maybe your chest is coming out, your legs are going to be a little bit more loose, and we are trying to really create that sensation of a body that is loosely stacked on top of each other, body parts that are loosely stacked on top of each other, yet at the same time connected and strong with a sense of purpose and balance all the way through to your center line. So let's kick up, find the center line, and then reduce the effort we put into it by 50%. So kick up, find the center line of balance, and now just reduce the amount of strength that you put into by 50% and stay here for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and find center line, engage everything, and come back down. So it can be really fun to alternate between the release and the full body energy handstand where everything is engaged. Let's do that a couple more times. What I like to do in this release handstand is I allow my legs to float apart, and I also allow the neck to slightly drop. I still keep my focus point in between my hands, but that just helps me to sort of get a little bit more of a sense of floating and ease when I'm doing this kind of work. So a lot of the other classes that I teach are really about putting in the maximum amount of energy and really pushing through. But I like to combine this type of work with my high energy work, sort of alternating in between, so that I still have a sense of, I still work on that sense of responsiveness and softness in the body, as well as training my maximum strength. So let's again kick up, center line of balance, everything engaged, and now reduce the effort you put in by 50%. Allow your legs to float apart, and the neck also releases slightly, and stay here for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Re-engage everything and come down. Okay, so we are trying to still remain in control while releasing the grip on the body slightly. That's kind of what's happening. It's a bit like surfing on the surface of the floor, as opposed to really digging your fingers in and taking control. So you're trying to really allow the body to find a different type of alignment that is a little bit more efficient and more economic. One more time, let's kick up, find center line of balance, and now release, let the legs flow apart and release the neck, release, put 50% of the amount of effort into this handstand, and see if you can get that floating sensation of the hips floating above your shoulders, everything stacked on top of each other, loosely but connected. And re-engage, center line, and come back down. So now if you like, if you're feeling a little bit adventurous, you can try to shift the weight a little bit from side to side in the shoulders and allow this to affect the rest of the body to create a ripple through all other body parts. Here, just shift from side to side. Let's try and do that together. Kick up into your handstand, find a sense of release, and just shift a little bit from side to side in your shoulders. So find your center line of balance, release, and then see if you can shift a little bit from side to side, allowing this to affect the rest of your body. The legs are relaxed and soft and responsive. And find your center line and come back. Okay, great. So on the one hand, we hold positions that have a sense of softness. On the other hand, handstands with release technique are also meant to create positions and situations where your weight is passing through something and isn't rigidly held. So the next exercise is about jumping up into a tuck, allowing the hips to float up, stay there for a second, and come back down. So still, I do have to push into the floor while I jump up into the tuck. So attention, it's not feet up first, it's hips up first with a round back, a rounded upper back pushing into the floor. So I'm not pushing my back straight. And here allow the hips to just float up for a second, just with a sense of suspension. They float up, easy, and come back down. Yeah, so just as we did in the kick up, let's do this 10 times together. And imagine your hips are just softly floating up towards the ceiling. And for 1, and 2, and 3, feel that suspension. 4, 5, gentle on the way down, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Okay, excellent. Next, we are going to kick up into a handstand allow the legs to float apart and then just allow the knees to sink down into a comfortable tuck position where you feel like your weight is sort of cushioned on top of your shoulders. And you're really trying to put as little effort into this as possible. So you're trying to sort of find balance point by releasing, as opposed to trying very hard to push yourself into a position. And that can be a very useful concept to apply for the rest of your training as well, to see if you can get into a position using a sense of release rather than force. So let's kick up. Allow the legs to float apart. Maybe you want to watch this first. And then I allow my knees to float down, finding a comfortable tuck position here. There's softness and I'm hovering above the shoulders. And stay here. We stay here and then just gently come down. Let's try and not make a sound on the floor, like a cat in the night, soft and supple. Let's do this together. Kick up. Allow the legs to float apart. Knees are floating down towards the ground. And find a comfortable position here where you're feeling really cushioned. There's a softness in the shoulder, in the upper back, in the chest. And then gently come down. So just watch that you are not bending the knees first, sort of pushing the feet behind you. But it's really about allowing the knees to float down into this tuck position. Let's do this 2 more times together. We kick up. Allow the legs to float apart. Knees gently come down towards the chest. Find a nice and easy, comfortable position here. And then allow your weight to fall front in order to come down. So it's kind of like the weight of the hips when you come down. It's like pouring water out from a bowl. Slowly the weight pours towards the front and that's what makes you come down. 1 more time. Kick up. Allow the knees to float down. Everything softens. Cushion yourself above the shoulders. Really feel that weight sinking into the ground. If you want to wiggle the shoulders, maybe here from side to side. See how that feels. And then the weight pours towards the front as we come down. Okay, great. Excellent. So these are a few exercises you can integrate into your training. Maybe when you start training handstands or somewhere along the middle before you start doing the harder stuff. So let's just do a gentle stretch and cool down here. Roll the shoulders backwards. And now take one arm across the chest. Shoulder is pushed down away from the ear and press the arm towards you. So I put my hand here just by my elbow and I just press the arm towards me and I put it slightly towards the side. At the same time I'm pushing the shoulder down. And release. Other arm across the chest. Shoulder is pushed down away from the ear. Pull the arm towards you and slightly out to the side. And hold it. And release. Now push this palm towards the floor and the head moves the opposite direction, creating a stretch here along the neck. And release. Other side, push the palm into the floor, head the other direction, creating a stretch along the neck. Hold it. And release. Now to finish off with feet parallel, navel pulled in towards the spine. Focus on your center line of balance where the weight of your body falls through in a straight line towards the ground. If you want, you can close your eyes for a second. And let's just check in with what we have learned in the past 30 minutes. What was new about what you did in the past 30 minutes? Try to remember the physical sensation of what the new thing was. Try and locate it in your body. Where have you felt that novelty, that new feeling? In which body part have you felt it and how did it feel? Try and really remember and visualize that. What was maybe too challenging? Really try and locate what may have been too challenging in that specific body part where you felt it. And now open your eyes if you haven't already. Thank you very much for practicing with me. Let me know how it went for you, what you took away from this, what you think about this. Comment and subscribe, and also check out my Vimeo videos, which include a few more challenging videos and exercises. And have a great day.